it's a place that's just around the corner from where we live, and we take the kids there all the time. So yeah, it's hit home pretty hard. So yeah, really feel for the Bondi community and the Jewish community, in particular. But yeah, seeing the kind of the scenes over the last couple of days has been pretty powerful as well. And yeah, I think we'll wear armbands throughout the test and obviously commemorate the victims.
During the Adelaide Test, both England and Australia will pay tribute to the lives lost in the Bondi attacks and send a strong message to the communities affected. We stand with you. Welcome to Around the Wicket. I'm Neroli Meadows. Joining me for this episode, we welcome Brad Haddin for the first time to the team and Callum Ferguson. And right off the top of the show this week, former Australia men's Test captain Michael Clarke. Pup, you're in Sydney. Can you just share your thoughts about what's transpired in Australia in the last couple of days?
Yeah, hello guys. Well said, Nez. Devastating, to be honest. I guess the eastern suburbs has been home for me for nearly 20 years now after moving from out west. A very strong community base, very cultural community. And I think everybody's super shook, to be honest. I don't think anybody can believe what's happened, what's occurred. There's still a lot of fear in the community, and rightly so. And I think everybody's just trying to band together as much as they can to help any way we can, and to pay our respects. And I guess that's probably, from my point of view, the most important thing. Thoughts, prayers with anybody that has been affected. I've heard a lot in the past 24 hours about, we don't expect this in Australia, but in my opinion, we shouldn't expect it anywhere in the world. It's absolutely devastating. So yeah, extremely tough at the moment for our local community.
Cricket is a sport that connects us, particularly over summer. And as many people have said, it's really important to do what Australians do from all walks of life. Both teams are going to be wearing black armbands and I said paying tribute in an appropriate manner. And you've just come from Sydney. That's what we want to see at this Adelaide Test.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing Australians will do. They'll all come together. And I'll echo Michael's words as well. I think we're all in shock, and our hearts and prayers go out to all the victims.
And on behalf of everyone here at the Walt Disney Company and ESPN, we extend our deepest condolences to the families, loved ones and communities at the centre of the devastating events that have occurred. And from the bottom of our hearts, we would like to thank the police and first responders for their bravery. Pup, we move on to the Adelaide Test. Pat Cummins, the captain, will return. How significant is this for Australia from a cricketing perspective, and how tough is it going to be for England, who are already 2-0 down?
Yeah, pressure's on England. There's no doubt about it. To me, obviously, it's make or break in regards to them staying in the series, but I think it's make or break in regards to them losing 5-0 or not, or having a chance of still winning the series. It's that extreme, the position they're in. I think Paddy coming back's wonderful for the team. His bowling's as good as anyone in the world. There's no doubt about it. I think Smitty's done a really good job tactically wise as captain. So I don't think that'll have too much change or impact on the field. But I think, yeah, any team with Pat Cummins in it is a lot stronger one.
And Michael, we've seen some strong words from Ben Stokes, the England captain, after the Test match in the media. How do you respond to that in the change room? Do you leave it a couple of days to talk about, or do you go straight after it?
Yeah, it was an interesting one, Hads, because I can understand what he's trying to do. He's trying to get the best out of his players. And if it means, giving them a polite rocket in the media, I think his words would be a lot stronger in the change room, as you know.
Yeah.
Certainly when we had a leadership role to play, I think in public, you try and be very selective with what you say. In private, sometimes, the team and all of us need a bit of a rocket. So I think you could see the frustration come out in Stokesy. I think he's expecting more from his players. I think they've all come out and made it clear that this preparation has been a 2-year process to get to this stage, this big stage. And that's the only thing I sort of feel like now with where they're at, being 2-0 down with nothing to lose. Sometimes you can put something on a pedestal And when you do that, it makes it very hard to attain, to reach. So now they're 2-0 down. It might just release the shackles. They might just be able to come out, clear their mind, got nothing to lose, release a bit of that fear factor. So we'll wait and see. But yeah, there's no doubt Stokesy was politely making it very clear that he expects and needs more from his teammates.
It is an interesting one with England. They've announced their 11 already and decided to stick with that top 7, no changes to the batting order. Thoughts on that, Ferg?
I find it really interesting that they've left Bashir out after a long preparation in the run-up to this Ashes series on Australian soil. In Adelaide, we've seen spin have a real impact over a long period of time. To leave him out shows that they don't really trust him, which is a really interesting scenario. I think there's always been a high price and a high value on spin at Adelaide Oval. Nathan Lyon will come into the lineup for Australia. He will have an impact. We know how well he bowls at Adelaide Oval. I'm really surprised they've gone down that path again. They're not trusting their top order to get the job done.
We'll talk more about the bowling with Graeme Swann later. But from a batting perspective, Pup, Harry Brook came out. He said they were shocking shots, bad batting, those dismissals in Perth and Adelaide. But interestingly, he also said, I don't regret them. I just maybe do it a little bit differently next time. What do you think their approach needs to be specifically in Adelaide?
Well, I think their shot selection at the start of their innings has been their downfall, but I think conditions will suit them more in Adelaide. There won't be as much sideways movement off the wicket, probably not as much bounce and pace in the surface as well. So in Adelaide, you can probably get away with a few of those shots more than you can in Perth and Brisbane. But look, I don't think they can afford to change their style of play. I think their intent needs to stay. I just think it's smarter. That's all. And I guess that's probably one of the things I've spoken about on this program, that when I watched them play India at Lords not too long ago, they kept their intent, but it was smarter intent. Pick their time, pick their bowler, pick the periods through their innings. I feel like the first 2 test matches, they've released that and just tried to drive on the up on a ball that's bouncing and seaming against a brand new ball. Like the basic fundamentals of batting in Australia, I don't think they've looked at. And they certainly haven't applied to their game. So Harry Brook, good on him for coming out and saying that. Now that balance, let's see, saying it versus doing it, always a challenge, especially when that's the way they've played for the last couple of years.
On that very point, you're fired up, Hads, because Marcus Trescothick, the batting coach, on day 3, it kind of went under the radar a little bit because of those comments that you spoke about with Ben Stokes of we don't do weak players and not in my dressing room. But Trescothick specifically said we did not discuss driving on the up after Perth. What do you think about that?
Well, it's an interesting comment to make. And the reason it's so interesting is, as Michael touched on, you plan for an Ashes event 2-3 years out. And not to talk about in Perth and the Gabba driving on the up says to me, I challenge their preparation. I don't think they have got it right. If you're not having those conversations in the change room, some of these guys, this is the first time they're toured to Australia. So I'm going to challenge that they haven't prepared right. They've prepared a lot about coming out and playing a happy brand of cricket and not talking down what they're trying to do. But from a preparation point of view, I don't think they've got it right. I don't think the discussions have been in the direction of what the series upholds.
Look, I agree. And that 5th stump line's been a real issue for them for a long period of time. Michael's points about picking your zones a bit better. They got it right in the first innings, I thought, Harry Brook in particular. But since then, he's lost his way. They're flashing with no feet. They were walking at Scott Boland in that first innings in Perth and having a real impact on his line and length. Then all of a sudden they started sitting on the crease and just throwing their hands and clearly with no direction as to what was going to be the highest percentage scoring zones. I don't want them to temper their mindset. I want them to take the game on the English top order. But they've got to do it in a highest percentage manner that's going to give them a chance to hit the boundary or hit it over the boundary.
We saw a bit of a media scuffle at the airport as well, with security getting involved. You've got a wry smile on your face. What do you think that shows?
Well, the enormity of the event. The Ashes series has always been pressure from outside, and it's how you deal with that. And I think what the security guard did, it's a little event in the scheme of things, but if you have a closer look at it, it's the pressure from within the squad. Everyone's on tenterhooks, and that's what was shown there. The media is always close and personable in an Ashes campaign. It's a totally different theatre. And just to meet the moment, the cracks are starting to appear. Maybe Brendan McCullum underestimated what an Ashes series was all about. He's never played in a series this big in his life. So just maybe the English are starting to doubt how big of an event this is.
It's a great point that Hads makes, Pup, because the reality is Brendan McCullum had a wonderful career, and particularly World Cups. New Zealand sort of always overachieved, but from a Test perspective, haven't had that pressure of the Ashes. So even though he's come out in the last couple of days and said, enjoy the pressure, this is the fun stuff, he never really played in it. What do you think?
Yeah, the boys are spot on with what they're just saying. And, yeah, you don't know what you don't know. I think you watch from afar. But, look, I've always thought a good player doesn't always make a good coach. So you don't necessarily need to have played at that level to understand it. But it's different. Hads is 100% right. An Ashes series is different. Not from a playing perspective. You still train as a batsman. You don't want to get a duck. You want to make 100, whether you're playing England or Bangladesh. But the stuff off the field, how extreme it is, the media attention, the spotlight, the sponsor commitments, all of that is extreme. And it's like no other series. The only other thing I can compare it to is a World Cup final.
Yeah.
But that goes for 1 or 2 days. The day before then you play the World Cup final, it's over. Not an Ashes series. And at the moment, we're seeing when you're losing how heavy that spotlight is on you. And don't worry, we've copped it over in the UK as well. So I don't think the Australian media I don't think they're pushing the boundaries. I think it's exactly what you experience when you're losing an Ashes series.
Just quickly, Pup, to finish it up, I'd love to know what you're most looking forward to this Test.
Now that I'm not a player, because as a player I wanted to win every game I played, I'm looking forward to seeing England bounce back. I want this series to be super tight. I want Melbourne to be tight. I want it to be a game that counts. Boxing Day Test, so special. New Year's Test in Sydney, I want to go to that game. I still want it to be on the line. So even though I'm Aussie through and through, I want us to win 3-2, not 5-0.
Ferg?
So hopefully England can find a way.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how England respond to Ben Stokes' comments in the media questioning their character. So let's see how that first hour goes, because I think we'll find out pretty quickly.
And Hads?
Oh, I'm a bit different to you, Michael. I'm actually looking forward to Australia wrapping up the Ashes and the last 2 Test matches.
Why am I not surprised?
and the players having the opportunity, and we've been there, Michael, in that last 2 Test matches when you've already won the Ashes. It is the time of your life, and that's what I'm looking forward to.
I tell you what, the blazer is on, the gloves are well and truly off when it comes to Hads. Pup, thank you so much for your thoughts. We'll talk to you after Adelaide. Who knows?
Thanks, guys.
2-1, 2-0, 3-0. We'll wait and see. Don't go anywhere because Graeme Swann is coming up next. It all goes on the line this week in Adelaide when it comes to England. Either win or draw to keep the Ashes alive, but lose and they've lost the Ashes here in Australia. Graeme Swann joins us now. Swanny, if you were giving the rev up to your England side, what would you be saying? Come on, give it to us full force.
We've got them exactly where we want them again. give them a nice, easy 2-goal advantage, come back in the second half and bang in 3 goals. Yeah, you're right. It's make or break for England. And what they've done by losing those first 2 is taken away the luxury of having a game where it doesn't have to go to plan. I still maintain they should have won that first Test. I'm sort of a bit perplexed by the second innings of the first Test. They got thoroughly outplayed in Brisbane. And now's the time, going into Adelaide, a ground that historically England haven't done that well on. But we can win there, and we know that. And we have to. So it's no more excuses, no more soft players apparently, and we have to go out and just win.
Of course, also, even if they draw it, Australia retain the Ashes. So as you say, it's pretty much win or bust. Last week on Around the Wicket, you said that you'd like to see Bethel given the opportunity at 3, replacing Ollie Pope, who's been a little out of sorts. Also, Tongue to replace Bryden Cass, who was incredibly expensive in Brisbane. Well, they've made one change, and it is Tongue coming in, but it's Gus Atkinson who has made way, and the top 7 remains the same as far as a batting perspective. Your reaction to that news, Swanee?
Yeah, you can tell I'm not on the selection panel, can't you? I'm very happy that Tongue's coming in. He's had a stunning last 12 months. He had a lot of injuries after breaking into the team, but bowled beautifully last year. He bowls fast. He bowls slightly fuller than the rest of the seamers, which I think is very important. You've got to pitch the ball up in Australia and try and get people driving. He also nips it back in. I think he'll do well, Josh Tongue. As with the batting, I thought Bethel might get the nod because the hype around him was so high before the Ashes. And he played really well last week. I was with England Lions at the Allen Border Field, and he got 70 odd. I know that's not a double 100, but he looked in really good touch. He looked hungry, and he also brings a bit with his left arm spin and his fielding as well. So I thought he might get the nod, but England are doing what they've done since Baz McCullum came into the role. They're being very loyal to the players.
No shot Bashir had. What does that tell you?
Well, they're not being very loyal to the players. That's what it tells me, because Bashir's been part of the last 3 years cycle, and the one thing he's done really well is he's been able to hold up but give England a different option. But there's a lot of talk about England's batting, but England's bowling have only taken 12 wickets. So I think they need something different. They need a point of difference. Yes, they've spoken about having fast bowlers bowl 140 Ks, but they need something different. They need something different at the other end, and I think their loyalty's gone out the window a bit, not picking Bashir. As
a spinner yourself, Swanee, is your heart hurting?
Yeah, I'll admit it was. At least one spinner's going to play in this Test match, though. At least Australia comes to their centre and put a spinner in. Honestly, I shake my head every time when spinners aren't picked. And what makes it worse is when the result then goes in favour of the people who wouldn't pick spin in the first place, like it has done for Australia in 2 games. Because it almost just marginalises us finger spinners. And we're a strong breed. We're resilient. We bounce back. But
different breed.
I'm absolutely with Hads here. That England do need something different. You always need a point of difference. Even if it's halfway through the second innings when your seamers have bowled, 30 overs in 2 days, and they're tired. They just need freshening up. Someone can hold an end, make a breakthrough, get the odd wicket. They don't have to take 5 wickets in every game to be effective as spinners, but you have to have on there just to change the rhythm of the batsman, just to keep it different. Yes, England have 140k bowlers, but they're all the same. They're all right-arm 140k bowlers. So as a batting unit, as soon as you're used to one, you're used to them all, so to speak. So, one of the things that Australia have had a massive advantage on in this series is they've got pace, but it's left arm as well. And we all know, historically, if you've got a good, quick left armer, what they can do in an Ashes series. If you throw that in with a spinner as well, you've suddenly got a varied bowling attack, which is what you need more often than not to take 20 wickets in a game.
You bring up pace. You suggested that maybe Jofra Archer wouldn't be picked for this test because they couldn't trust him with the words that you used, given the pace that he was bowling at the end of the match compared to during the match. They have stuck with him. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I just think that what we've seen in the second innings of the Gabba was outstanding. I know there was only 60 runs on the board, but he showed a bit of fight. He bowled around 150 Ks, and my comments were off the back of, can he do that for 5 days? I want to see Archer grab the ball in this first session. When Steve Smith comes out to bat in the first innings and the first day, take it personally there. Take the game on there, and all of a sudden you'll get energy off the back of that. I don't want to see 135 Ks. I want to see what Archer produced in the second innings from day one of the Test match.
Yeah, you'd rather see him go really hard from ball one and then run out of gas late just because he's tried his heart out the whole day and the first 3 days.
Swanee, what do you think we'll see from Archer in Adelaide?
Well, I'm with the boys. This is weird. I'm agreeing with Australia. It doesn't sit well.
Been here too long.
You must be unwell.
What I said last week and what Hads has just said there, the fact that he showed that fight in the second innings, and I know it was a finite amount of time that they had to field, so he knew this is all the energy I've got to expand. And also, make no bones about it, Ben Stokes will have said before they go out, we know we've lost this test, but we go out there and you show me something, you show me some grit, you show me some fight. And he responded well. You absolutely want to see that in the first innings from day one. It's a lot easier. If you're the strike bowler, and I always go back to Mitchell Johnson, 2013, compared to 2010. 2010, Mitchell Johnson had to bowl 30 overs a day. In 2013, Australia basically said, look, you're bowling 3-4 over spells as quick as you can, and then you can go and graze for an hour and a half. We take a wicket, a new man comes in, you're on, and you absolutely explode for 2 overs. That's Jofra Archer's job. If England can bowl well around him and make sure he bowls 3-4 over spells where he's just lightning and just concentrates on, trying to blow people's gloves off and trying to smash the stumps, then he's going to be effective. If he's got to bowl 25, 30 in a day, is inevitably going to be 135.
Just finally, Swanee, who do you see as the most important player in this England 11 in this huge test?
Well, I don't think you can look past Joe Root. I think in that last test in Brisbane, in the first innings when Rooty was batting, it all seemed so serene and it seemed so even. And if anything, like England were in control of that game for a good portion. As soon as Rooty's out or he's not at the crease, the whole game has a different feel to it. So I know it heaps even more pressure on our best player, but he is our best player ever, so he can handle that. Another 100 from Root, and a big score in both innings is what England are desperate for, because then the other guys who, let's face it, they are very aggressive, and yeah, they didn't talk about driving on the up apparently, and all got caught nicking off. But if they can play their natural games, because Rooty has taken so much pressure and put so many overs into the legs of the Aussie bowlers, then their games flow and they can play those shots and they can be successful. If Rooty doesn't have as good a test match and they're exposed to a slightly newer ball or a bit more pressure, that's when the cracks appear.
Swanee, we always love to get your perspective and we look forward to hearing from you. Who knows what the result is going to be after Adelaide. We'll chat to you next week. Don't go anywhere, because after this short break, we're going to hone in on the keeping skills of Alex Carey, because, of course, we've got one of the great Aussie keepers at the desk with us. A lot of praise for Alex Carey after his performance in Brisbane, keeping up to the stumps and doing perfectly with that pink ball. We've got Brad Haddin, former Aussie keeper, here with us, so who better to talk to about maybe Gilly, but we love your Hads. Yeah. He's averaging 2.197 dismissals per innings, which, to put that into context, is the third all-time in the history of the game. Minimum 150 test dismissals. Note there that you're also in the top 5 with brilliant numbers. Can you talk to how impressive that is from Alex Carey?
Yeah, I'll actually look at that a different way. He's had some really good fast bowlers to keep behind, so he does get a lot of opportunities, but it's not the number that I look at with Alex Carey. What I look at is how neat he is behind the stumps and what he doesn't miss. I haven't seen Alex Carey miss a chance for some time, and what he did in Brisbane, your best keepers go unnoticed, and that's what you want to do as a keeper, go unnoticed, but we noticed Alex Carey because how brave he was to stand up to the stumps, but also he changed the course of the game. The tactics that they used to go up to the stumps on a wicket that was bouncing and had cracks in it, I've never seen a more complete display in a day's cricket than what I've seen from Alex Carey.
How often have you seen a wicketkeeper go up to the stumps to that sort of pace? Because it wasn't just Michael Neser, it was Boland as well, who's bowling near enough 140 on a bouncy wicket like that. It doesn't happen too often, does it?
No, it doesn't. You normally come up to the stumps because it's a low, slow wicket, but he came up to make a point of difference in the game. And what it did do, it made the England batsmen uncomfortable. And we've seen by the way they play, he got a beautiful catch off Ben Stokes. Actually brought a tear to my eye.
Unbelievable, wasn't it? It was unbelievable.
You don't cry.
It was actually unbelievable what he did. The catch running back as well, that's as good as you'll see. But it was also so brave because the wickets had cracks in it, and to sit down as a wicketkeeper and look down the wicket and see the cracks, the first thing that goes in the back of your head, you've got to try to put that out. And the way he didn't misglove a ball, the way he put pressure on the English batsman, he changed the way the game was played that day. And I loved every minute of it, and I love that Alex Carey's finally getting noticed.
And he also came out and said, you can't practice that in the nets, it's too dangerous. This is something I do in a match and a match only. Where is he sitting at the moment in amongst the greats?
Well, I think at the moment, technically, and the way he's performing with the gloves, he's the best in the world at the moment. He's been really good for a long time to Nathan Lyon in the subcontinent. But as I said, what he did the other day changed the course of that match. He made everyone felt uncomfortable, but he did it with such ease. He was faultless. The balls he was taking, I was in the commentary box with Ferg and I'd jump out of my seat and everyone would just say, that's what a keeper does. But it was the bravery in the way he did it. It was first class. Yeah,
and on the flip side, Jamie Smith, the England keeper, what have you made of his performance so far?
Well, he's come to our shores with a big reputation. He's been very, very good with the bat under pressure as well for England for some time. But he dropped that catch of Travis Head at the Gabba.
Yeah, that's right.
and it hasn't looked like he's been able to come back from that. And pressure does different things, and this is a different series and a different theatre to any other series he would have played at. So he's a class player. He would have enjoyed the couple of days away, get his head away from wicket keeping, come back, do his drills, and expect a better and more cleaner display this Test match.
Dare I say, when it comes to the around the wicket team, he's a keeper.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't go anywhere. The short stuff is coming up next. Time to take on the short stuff. Congratulations to the Hobart Hurricanes in the WBBL. Champions and Elise Villani has decided to retire from the WBBL. What a career.
Oh, an unbelievable career. 3-format player for Australia. She told me before the tournament even started the Hurricanes would win it, and they got the job done.
Congratulations. In the BBL, it's underway. Babar Azam, not the start he wanted, but your beloved Sixers. How significant is he going to be?
I think he's going to be one of the find of the tournament, and I also like the number.
056.
Yeah, superstition. It has to be superstition.
Starkey keeps his 56. Ferg, last night it was all happening in Geelong. Tim Seifert with the 100, Ollie Peake with the half-century, and Shaheen Shah Afridi taken out of the attack. What stood out to you?
Oh, well, it's hard to look past the number 1 draft pick being no-balled out of the game for dangerous bowling. Who could believe that? Cold down there, hard for the fingertips.
Oh, I tell you what. Hads, have you ever given up the opportunity for a stumping?
Everything in me would not be able to do that. I understand what they're trying to do. The batsman's going slow, but I am not brought up to not do that. I'm taking the bails. I
just wouldn't be able to do it. You were worried about the cricket gods, weren't you?
Oh, 100%. There's no way I couldn't take the bails. David
Warner, injured start for the BBL. How's he going to go after not playing for so long?
Oh, it'll be a tough one, but he's a class act, David Warner. But, geez, it's hard work chasing your kids around the backyard, isn't it? That's how he tore his side, apparently.
Not used to being home.
Who's going to win the BBL?
I think it's going to be a Thunder Sixers final.
All right,
Sixers
there you go.
win.
Sydney-centric. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you after the Adelaide Test.